Hi, this is Mr. Boyer, and we're working on Web A. We're going to start off with the first part, which is getting set up to work with our web files. And so I'm going to show you how to work with zip files. I'm going to teach you how to turn on file extensions so that we can see the actual extensions of the files in the folders. And finally, show you how to work with Notepad, which is a simple little editor that's built in to Microsoft Windows that allows you to edit text documents just like an HTML web page. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is work with zip files. And this zip file, you'll notice on the web assignment here, I have weba.zip. I'm going to click right where it says this file, but I'm not going to click with the left. Instead, I'm going to use the right click, and I'm going to save link as. And when the dialog box comes up, I'm going to tell it to save it to the web or to the desktop. So I'm going to make sure that this desktop is clicked on the left and then click save. Once I do that, I see the confirmation down on the bottom here, but I also have it on my desktop now. So a zip file is a file that is essentially a folder that's been self-contained into one single file that can be transferred, and this folder can contain other folders, and it can contain multiple files. So in this case, when we open it up, Windows treats it just like a regular folder in some respects. So when I double click it, it opens up and I get um, this compressed folder tab up top here, and I also see that there's another folder in it. So if I take this folder, this Web A folder, I can drag it and then drop it right to my desktop here, and then go ahead and close that archive. And that's really what a zip file is. It's just an archive. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this because I'm going to create a new Web A zip file a little bit later on. Now that I have that folder extracted from it, when I open it up, I see that there's another file in here, and notice it has the Google Chrome icon next to it. And if I hover over it, it says that it's a Chrome HTML document, but I don't know that for sure. Even though under the type it says that, the only way to know for sure that it's an HTML document is to look at its extension. Now, if you recall, the extension is the ending of a file name that has a dot or a period, and then it has anywhere from 1, 2, 3, up to several characters that tell you what type of file it is. So, for example, if I had a .txt, I would know it's a .text file. Or if I had a doc or docx extension, I'd know that it's a Microsoft Word document. Also, an XLS or an XLSX is an Excel spreadsheet file. But in order to see those, I want to turn on the extensions for this folder. So what I want to do is go up to the top tab and select View. And on the ribbon here, I want to select the Options button. And I can either use the drop down or I can use that single button up there. I want to change the folder and search options. So when I click that, I come up to the View tab, and now I have a few options over here. I've got files and folders, and all these different icons or different check boxes and radio buttons down here. I want to look for the checkbox that says hide extensions for known file types. I don't want to hide any extensions, so I'm going to uncheck that box. And if you notice, when I click the apply button, almost immediately .html pops up. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And so now I've got the extensions showing on most of my files. So I have last name, first name, web.html in this web A folder, and then I can manipulate it. So one thing I want to do is I want to edit this file folder, or this file rather. So in order to do that, I'm going to use Notepad. This is the next section. So here I am, I'm going to click the Windows key and R at the same time to bring up my Run dialog box, and then I'm just going to type the word Notepad. And when I do that, the Notepad window comes up. Okay, so I need to open this web file. I'm going to click File, Open, and then browse to the desktop, and finally look for the WebA folder. And when I open that up, there's nothing in there. Let's take a look at the lower right corner of this window. It says text documents or star.txt. If you remember from the Access lesson, this asterisk means wildcard. It means any file name with the extension .txt or text. So I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to go to asterisk dot asterisk, which means any file name with any extension or all files. When I click that, then I see my HTML document pops up. I can double click that and open it up, and here's my my HTML file. This is the web page that we're going to start off with. Okay, so I have up here, you can see all these tags and all the text that goes in here, and we'll take a look at that in the next video. What I want to do here real quick is I want to go ahead and save as, and I want to change the name of this. So I want to keep my original file just in case you need to go back to that, but I need to change this file name. So I'm going to get rid of the file name, leave the extension, and also make sure that I select all files. And when I do this here now, again, I'm going to change this to last name, first name, web A. That's the assignment. Again, save as file type. Make sure that all files is selected. Make sure you have the .html extension in here, and then click save. Once you do that, you'll notice in the file folder that this name has popped up. So we have those two files in here, and in preparation for learning to submit this file, which we'll have to do in a zip file, let's go ahead and take a look at how to create a web folder, or a zip file rather. So I'm going to close this web A folder. I'm also going to click this or close this notepad and minimize this screen so I can clear my desktop a little bit. Now I want to go find the web A folder, and if I open that back up again, notice I have two files in it now. And what I want to do is I actually want to create an archive. So I can right click on this web A folder. First thing I want to do is rename it, and I want to rename it also with last name, first name, web A. And that's going to have no extension, it's simply a folder. And now I can create a zip file. So I want to come down here, I'm going to right click on the file folder, I'm going to select send to, and then select the option compress zip folder. Once I click that button, it creates a new archive and it gives me a chance to rename it. I'm just going to move it right down here. And so now I have an archive copy of the original web folder. If I double click it, I open it up, I can see this folder in here. It's the same as what's on the desktop. However, if I make any changes to this one over on the desktop, it will not be duplicated in the zip folder. So then you have to re-archive it. Okay, so I have these two files in here. I could edit these in here, but sometimes Windows behaves a little bit funny with a zip file, so we're going to go ahead and just not do that right now. Let's go ahead and close this archive, and we'll send this to the recycle bin because we know we're going to create another zip file when we're done with our web lesson. And at this point, I'm going to take a break, and we'll switch to the next video.